John Parker Wilson, former Alabama quarterback, color analyst for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Man, I hope you had a great weekend, John Parker. Welcome into the game in T-Town.
It was great, man. How was yours? Everything going good?
Everything's good, man. It's been a very, very busy day today. Very, very busy today. It's we're getting one step closer, 53 days away. But really, SEC Media Day is just a few days away, and a lot of conversation about Alabama, Nick Saban. I mean, we've turned the corner at the 4th of July. That's the corner, and now we're past it.
Yeah, and the Media Day is kind of the official start to everything, to the season, because now, all the guys are back in school, taking summer classes. They'll have Media Days starting on Monday, and then, now it's getting real. Now you're getting ready for the season. It's getting close. When I was driving home a second ago, it's at 100 degrees on my car, so that meant about 105 outside on that turf, and it's starting to get real. I'm ready. I'm glad it's here. This is perfect timing. Let's get back to football.
John Parker, how can you really stay hydrated? Because I walk outside and I know people work hard. Man, brick masons work hard. I mean, there's people working out in this stuff all day. You guys are out there running 110s. I mean, how do you pre-hydrate? How do you rehydrate? I mean, what's the plan? I mean, how do you get that much fluid after losing all that with Scott Cochran driving you guys into the ground?
Oh, it's tough. You literally have to work on it all day long, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, because it's serious. And that's one of the easiest ways to get hurt is by not being hydrated. We would take the old school salt pills. You drink just tons of Gatorade. They've got all kind of different sports drinks and everything now that are specially formulated to get your body right. You do it when you're out there. Jeff Allen is out there spraying you down with water. You're drinking water the whole time. But you have to be aware of it, because like you said, I mean, even just us just walking to the car or cutting the grass or doing whatever, I mean, you can feel it. Your body gets tight. What you don't want to do is get tight, go out there and run for an hour, and then come inside and then start doing, I don't know if you follow Scott Cochran or any of these guys on Instagram or Twitter or anything, but they're throwing a lot of weight around. So you can't be tight in your muscles. They also spend a lot of time and effort on the nutrition and trying to get that right. It's all part of the package. Even, just 10 years ago when I was there, it's been longer now, we didn't spend that much time on nutrition. Now it's front and foremost in front of all these guys.
John Parker, is it really a fair, can you really simulate fall camp? Does this, obviously it helps you, but once the pads come on, how do you add that bulk? Because it's illegal to go out there and do pad work, or maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But, when you put that much weight on the helmet, it's got to be worse. Can it really get you ready for what's going to happen in August?
No, it doesn't. You try to get there, and you're in shape, and you're physically, your lungs are ready to go. But when you put those pads on, and you got those jerseys and then the pants, and then that helmet on top of it, it's hard to breathe in there. It's completely different when you go out there. Not to mention, out there running 110s and running around the track is one thing, but when you're getting, having car wrecks every play where these guys are hitting each other, now you're short of breath and you're trying to come back. You can't simulate it. You really can't. And I tell you what, take it one step further. As hard as we go during the preseason and the training camp and everything, it's really hard to simulate a game. To get out there, it's a big difference from that first game. It's kind of nice we're playing in the Georgia Dome to start, but to take that training camp practice like atmosphere and then translate it to a game, you can't get game shape. The only way to get into game shape is to be doing it. And it's just part of the process. That's one of the things I think Coach Saban and Cochran have got a big advantage. We talk about it a lot during bowl games, and they've got their schedule of, hey, we need to practice this much 10 days before the bowl game. Well, preseason is the same way. He's done it. He's very familiar with being able to read the guys, read the team, know when to push them, but also know when to pull them back. Because any coach can go out there and say, we got to work harder. We got to go out there and, run more. But knowing when to pull the guys back and then doing it in a way where they're not letting off the gas, but you're just taking some off their plate, that's hard to do from a coach.
All right, so you and former players that were here when Nick Saban was trying to get everything working and trying to build the foundation. I hear you guys, on that barbershop show last year, Julio Jones is trying to tell the younger guys he's taking it easy. So when you go out there as a color analyst, because you get those practice privileges, do you look at it and say he's easier than what he was when I was going through?
I don't know. It's easy for us to say that now, but I'll be honest with you. A lot of it's the same. It's very similar to when I was playing, to when Julio was playing. I mean, not a lot has changed. And you go out there, they've got this very similar, practice period. They're 20 periods in a practice, and they're going to change. You go out there, and I'll never forget it. Last year I went to practice and watching them, and it was a hard practice. I mean, it's hot out there. They're in pads. They're flying around. Do a 2-minute drill at the end, so it's fast and furious. They're trying to get the ball down, spot it. The guys are running hard. Practice is over. I'm like, man, that's a pretty tough practice. But then they go line up on the goal line, and you're running 40, 50, 60-yard sprints after you've done this whole practice. I know what Julio's saying, and you do, like always, kind of like getting under your little brother, but I don't think he's back down whatsoever. He's if anything, he's putting the gas on him even more.
Well, and I could only imagine. I mean, after what happened out in Santa Clara, that it probably uptick a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, I haven't seen any practices so far, but I think knowing Coach Saban like we do and go and listen to all of his press conferences, he's putting the hammer down right now. And it's going to be that way through the whole season. It's got to be. When you got the target on your back like those guys do, you can't let up. If you let up for a day, that turns into 2 days, that turns into a week, and then that turns into bad habits. So you literally can't let up. That's where Coach Saban obviously comes in huge, but it's up to, the older guys and the leaders on the team to say, we can't, no matter if it's July 9th like it is today or it's November 9th, you got to get after it.
Nick Saban will make the appearance next Wednesday at SEC Media Day. Certainly he'll always take a message. I'm always thinking about a message that Nick Saban will take because he'll have something on his mind because he's the spokesperson for college football. When he talks, people listen. And I think he knows that. And I think it's always for the good of the game. I mean, whether it's something that he's wanting to get changed, something that he just wants to raise awareness about, I'm always trying to guess what will be on Nick Saban's mind. Maybe it's the transfer portal that's been a topic of conversation. Maybe it's immediate eligibility. I'm always trying to predict what Nick Saban, the voice of college football, is going to take to Hoover, Alabama.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and I really do believe that when he talks, people do listen, and he knows that. But he's not talking just to make Alabama better. I think he genuinely is talking to make the sport better. In college football, I mean, we got NFL, college football. I don't know what would be third, but those have got to be the highest 2 rated going on. So you want to keep the game going. You want to keep it going for the next generation. I mean, he's been in the game forever, and you want to keep it going forever. And I really do think he's been very vocal, and he's very vocal. He doesn't shy away from the tough issues that probably a lot of people don't want to talk about. The transfer portal, like you talked about opening the segment, paying players. I mean, There's a lot of, polarizing issues that he's going to address. And when people ask him the questions, he won't shy away from it. I'm interested to hear it too, because, you want to do what's best for the school. You want to do what's best for the player. And it's just, Sankey and Coach Saban and the rest of the college football, it's a tough position. It was tough 20 years ago. It's going to be tough 20 years from now. Things are going to change, but it takes guys like him being vocal and telling him what to think because he does influence what a lot of people do and say and think.
John Parker, I'll never forget. I mean, he takes so many. And what is amazing about Nick Saban? This will be the final question. We're talking to John Parker Wilson, presented by Tuscaloosa Toyota, tuscaloosa.toyota.com. We'll tell you more about those guys coming up in just a couple of seconds here. But how the foresight, he is able to see where college football is going. And sometimes, like, he's so far ahead of everybody else. Sometimes when he'll say stuff, it's like, there's no way that can happen. 2 years down the road, you're like, Nick Saban said this 2 years ago, and he was absolutely correct. He told us that we wouldn't care about bowl games. He said, all we're going to focus on now is college football playoffs. I was in the room. After he walked out, people were like, what's he talking about? Well, in 2019, all we care about is the 4 teams in college football play. Mm-hmm. We got players skipping bowl games. We got coaches leaving. I mean, he's right. It's all we focus on. And I remember when he cares. He knows he's going to be a part of the playoffs, or he hopes he is. But he's going out there for the good of the game because he knows when other programs get publicity, it's good for the overall game and the health of college football.
Yeah, no question. And you know, if you always do and say the right things, you know, it's going to pay off in the long run. And he speaks from his heart. And he's always been like that, whether he's at LSU or he's at the Dolphins. He just tells you what he's thinking. You can tell he thinks about the game a lot, whether it be X's and O's, but also the higher level stuff, the front office stuff about, hey, should we let players transfer in the middle of the season and be eligible for a bowl game? That's probably not the best thing for college football. I mean, you can do it in the NFL, but the NFL and the college is 2 completely different worlds. I mean, it's night and day from being in that college locker room and going through the playoffs and everything that goes on in the NFL locker room where, you know, once you get deep in the playoffs, let's go win a Super Bowl. But there's a lot of things that go on, guys, in contract years. There's a lot. It's a different game. Now, the products on the field are great, but it's a different atmosphere. And I think that's what we love being college football fans is that atmosphere, that camaraderie, everything that goes along with it. And I think he really cares about it. And there's a lot of topics right now that you know he's going to have to address, and he will. And that's the good thing about it is he's going to do it, and hopefully he's able to positively influence a lot of people.
John Parker, take a second here and talk about the great dealership, Scott Peoples, Tuscaloosa Toyota, tuscaloosa.youtube.com.
Yep, I had to go see the service department today. I mean, just as easy as it could be, as always. Flipped on the tuscaloosa.youtube.com right now on my laptop, pulled it up, go to the specials tab. This is pretty crazy right now. They have a hail sale going on. You can save up to $18,000 off the MSRP on new Toyotas at tuscaloosa.youtube.com or at Tuscaloosa Toyota. So they got that special going on. And then, as always, the 3-day exchange policy where, for whatever reason, you don't like the color or the interior, you can take it back for the one price, one place, down at Skyline Boulevard at tuscaloosa.toyota.com.
No doubt. John Parker, stay cool, man. Find the AC and, don't be doing too much grass work out there, man. It's too hot. The heat advisory, use that as an excuse. I just got a heat advisory text message a couple of minutes ago, so be careful out there, man.
I appreciate it. The yard's getting sloppy, but it's going to be like that for a couple more days.
Got it. Thank you, John Parker, man. Thank you so much.
Roll Tide.